Hello, I'm going to talk about Gemini Moon today. I have a lot of people close to me that have this moon sign, including a puppy that I just got. So it's been cool to see how it plays out in animals too. So this is someone who's going to be incredibly smart, very witty, very clever, very funny, very talkative. And this is because they are nurtured by communication and information and ideas. It's a very mentally based moon sign. So you're gonna find that your thoughts and emotions are really tethered together. This can happen a lot because Gemini and Cancer are next to each other in the zodiac. So this combination happens quite often. And this isn't exactly like that, but the moon is ruled by Cancer. So it's a Gemini Cancer thing, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And Gemini's thoughts, Cancer's emotions. So what you're gonna find is that when you think something, you'll immediately feel it. And when you feel something, you're gonna think about it. And you've got this feedback loop going on between your brain and kind of your gut or your heart, and you're just kind of cycling through everything. Whereas some people could look at a situation and be able to have a separate component for like, oh, I think this about it logically, but I feel such and such way about it. You aren't really going to be able to do that. And in essence, it makes you a pretty emotional person, ironically, even though it is an air sign. It's because everyone's constantly thinking. I mean, it's really hard to shut your brain off unless you do it consciously through meditation. And that's definitely something I would recommend for this moon sign if you're feeling incredibly overwhelmed by this mental emotional feedback loop that is going on all the time. Take a minute and try to not think or feel anything, and then you'll feel really clear in both areas. So like I said, you're going to be really nurtured by communication. So you're somebody that, well, Gemini has two sides to it though, remember. Gemini has the side of it that's bouncing off the walls, talking to everybody, and then it has the side that is bouncing off the walls internally, alone, maybe reading a book or playing a game or thinking about people or even just texting, like socializing still, but being more alone. So you'll find that there'll be times where you really, really need to talk to somebody to process through something. Like you can't do it alone and you're freaking out and you just need your friend to listen to you and chat with you or hang out with you to distract yourself. Or you might find that you need to be completely isolated from everybody and just think about it and get it out. You are going to enjoy talking about your emotions. Like you're going to be pretty open about it. Like, oh my God, I'm so angry, or oh, I'm so hungry, or I'm so sad, or I'm so pissed off. Like it'll just blah, like you're going to be pretty verbal about what you're feeling and pretty open about it and very open to discussing other people's feelings. You'll be pretty interested in doing that. This placement has a lot of similar effects to Mercury and Cancer in a way, just now that I'm going over it because of this cusp thing. So yeah, you're probably really chatty and you love it. You love having a conversation, even if it's kind of superficial. You are really interested in hearing what everyone else has to say. You love sharing your opinions and ideas with other people. You're definitely the kind of person that, like if you're working on a group project, you're gonna speak your mind And if you're in class, you're going to ask questions. Like, you're not afraid to vocalize what you need in terms of communication and information. You're always trying to discover more stuff. You are incredibly curious. So something that's going to make you really emotionally imbalanced is feeling stagnant or bored or uninterested in something, because that'll make you incredibly depressed. Or on the flip side, really frustrated and anxious if you feel like you aren't making progress and things are just the same every day. Gemini needs change, and it's in the moon, so you, more so than any other placement, you really, really need change and stimulation to feel secure. As ironic as that is, you can't just do the same exact thing every single day. Like, it'll drive you crazy. So you might struggle making a routine and wonder why you can't stick to it. This is definitely part of it. And my suggestion is to just go with the flow, because this cusp is very much about that, because Gemini is mutable and Cancer is a water sign that's just kind of trying to direct everything. So you definitely have the position to like control where the flow goes, but you also just have to kind of follow it. There's no point fighting it. But definitely like mix things up. If there's a specific area of your life that you feel like is the same all the time, just switch it up. Like, if you eat the same thing for breakfast every day, try something new. If you walk the same way to work or take the dog on the same route, just switch it up and go on an adventure over the weekend. Watch a new show, do a different kind of art project, something like that. That'll really make you feel emotionally fulfilled, to have different options to do that day and to be able to change your plans. Like, you need to be able to escape a situation. I think it's not often talked about, but Gemini is kind of an escape artist and a liar and shapeshifter in a bit, and a little bit of a flake. But it's because you sometimes just need to quickly shift the situation, completely change what's going on, and kind of go with those vibes. So if you feel like you're unable to do that in a social setting, it's going to give you an incredible amount of anxiety, and you're probably just going to sit there freaking out, because you're the kind of person that's like, oh. These dogs. You're the kind of person that's like, oh, I know I was planning on sleeping over, but I really got to go. Or, hey, work called me and my schedule changed. Or, you know, I got to do homework, guys. Sorry, I can't come. You need to be able to do that emotionally. If you feel like people are putting a lot of pressure on you to show up, you're going to stop showing up altogether, because they're not going to feel safe. You need to be able to leave. You need to be able to shift at a moment's notice, completely randomly, because you're feeling like it. That makes you feel safe. Because if you feel trapped, it's similar to the stagnant energy, where you're just going to start building up all of that mental, emotional feedback, and it's going to be really uncomfortable for you. So allow yourself to make plans knowing that they could change. And if you are having people in your life that are getting frustrated with you, maybe explain to them how it serves you emotionally. Because most of the time when people flake on situations or change things or struggle with communication, they think it's because you're being a jerk or blowing them off, or that you don't care. But that's probably because they don't understand in the first place. So just communicate to them what it is that you need socially, and it'll make the whole process a lot easier. What else do I want to say? You probably really love reading. Like, that's an activity that could make you feel really satisfied and comfortable. If you feel a little out of whack, just sitting down, and words are helpful. Even listening to like a podcast or an audiobook, writing something, journaling, that's going to be something that's super effective to you. Making lists, you know, Gemini is all about language, written and spoken. So you could be a poet and you probably write about things that make you feel a certain way, and you probably really love reading things that stimulate you emotionally as well. And you're, like I said, I think earlier, you're cool to have these emotional conversations with everyone. You love talking about it. So you'd be a really good friend for when it comes to therapy, or you just need to hang out with somebody. Like, you can do that on the flip side also, and you provide that for other people who just need a shoulder to cry on, who need some advice, who need to stay up talking on the phone with you for 5 hours. You know, that's definitely something you're good at. So career-wise, I mean, it depends where this is in your house, but typically I find that when you are in alignment with your moon sign and emotionally satisfied with your job, that's a really good indicator that you are doing the right thing, and valuing yourself correctly. So you'd be really good, maybe as like an editor or a receptionist, or working online, working with social media, advertising. You could be a really good teacher. You could be a really good therapist. I mean, I'm not trying to put anyone in a box. Those skill sets would really engage your moon sign, which is going to make you feel really satisfied in your job. And you're going to need to do something that interests you. Like, if you work a job that you find completely boring and useless and you don't see the point of it, you're not going to last very long there. And the Geminis in you is going to be like, whoop, gotta go. Gotta do something different because I feel it. Bye, everybody. You're probably going to shift a lot, you know, and that's okay. And the way that you think about life is going to change all the time. And that's okay. It's just the evolution process and going through cycles. So, like I said, you're really super smart, intuitive, clever, witty, funny. You can talk to anybody about anything. And you're a really lovely energy to be around. You know, this moon sign, like I said, can tend to get kind of bored and frustrated as more negative traits, or kind of like disconnect. But you don't tend to be too sad, because Gemini is a very playful, happy, childish kind of energy. So you usually are in a pretty good mood, and you're able to make other people laugh and feel silly and be playful, and you kind of bring out the child in everybody, just through your emotional state. Not that you're immature or anything, though you might you might be a bit when it comes to kind of your emotional world. You might, you know, since you're communicating about your emotions, you might just kind of throw little tantrums here and there, or be really confusing to people and change your mind all the time, what have you. Everyone has their flaws, right? But yeah, overall, this is a really cool sign, I think. It's definitely really positive. Just learn to be able to integrate your mental and emotional bodies in a way that are harmonic for you, and that will be of really great benefit. Just notice how your thoughts affect your feelings and vice versa, and try to only keep positive thoughts in your head so that you're feeling good. And when you're feeling good, think about what brought you to that space and try to continue that. All right, cool. So that's all I'm going to talk about now for this moon sign. If you're interested in a birth chart, please email me. I'll put that in the description. It's similar to this. I just kind of intuit a sign, except I'd also do it for the houses and, you know, for the entire chart, and write it into a document rather than making a video. I'm also working on a monthly subscription service where I look up all of the planetary shifts and aspects for the month ahead and kind of write down what it is to expect in terms of energy, so you can align yourself with that a little bit easier. And that's also a written document, and I will put that in the description. Continuing doing moon signs when I have time. If you want your moon sign to be next, just give me a comment. I'm not doing it in any particular order. So yeah, peace.